Hey guys, so this is the second video of the two-part video series or thing, whatever you want to call it, on Clairaudience. In the first video, I talked about what Clairaudience is, how they might come across, and how it might sound in your ears or in your head, or how you might be able to tell the difference if it's spirit or if it's your voice. And really, I just gave a lot of great background, really informative information on that. So if y'all would like to go watch that video, that'd be great. This video is going to be on tips on how to strengthen your clairaudience. Just really some exercises and some things that you can use. And if this works for you, then that's cool. And if it doesn't, then that's fine also. You can just keep on going. And yeah. So the first thing I can say is talk to yourself. Talk to yourself out loud. Talk to yourself when you're driving. Talk to yourself when you're in the grocery store. Talk to yourself when you're washing dishes. Talk to yourself when you're cleaning your house. Talk to yourself anytime you can. I mean, because I know there's some moms and dads out there who are watching this and are like, well, I don't have any alone time because I always have kids. Kids are not going to want to be around when you're cleaning. Well, from my experience, I found that. So that's a great time that you can just get right in your head and start talking to yourself. So yeah, or if you tell them you're going to be meditating, talk to yourself when you're meditating. Talking to yourself gets you used to listening for a voice in your head. Even if it is your own voice and you are answering yourself, it gets you comfortable with it. It gets you really looking into aligning to receive audio, whether it be with your ears or with your head. Now for me, Clairaudience started in my head and then it worked towards my ears as I became more comfortable with hearing spirits. The second tip I can give you is joke with your guides. Ask your guides to sing you dirty jokes. Ask them to sing you songs. Ask them to sing you movie clips, commercial clips, whatever you find fun that could just make your day more fun. Because the more fun you have, the more your energy opens up and the more they can come in and they can send more stuff. Whereas if you're stressing, you're like, I need to get that answer, I need to do this, you're just gonna suck all that aura in, and it's gonna they won't be able to send as much because you're gonna have not only is aura gonna be closed, but then you're gonna have that filter of stress just kind of lining around your aura, your energy, or whatever you want to call this outer space. So yeah, whenever I first started, again, I asked my guides, hey guides, let's tell dirty jokes today. And me and my friends, we would tell dirty jokes all day, and sometimes I would come up with really good ones, and they're like, Jessica, where did you even get that one from? And I'm like, I don't know. And then at that moment, I knew that it was my guides sending me dirty jokes. Or even if I didn't know and I thought maybe it's possibly me, I still said it was my spirit guides, and it didn't matter if I was right or wrong with it. It was the idea that I'm trusting that they're sending me dirty jokes, and that all the dirty jokes that are coming and streaming in my head or I'm thinking of, or were them sending it to me. And it really got me to trust that, hey, I can talk to my spirit guides. I can communicate with spirit people. I can say things and say it out loud and people understand it. So that was really a great trust building exercise for me. Now for me, this just happened naturally, so I don't know if this one will work or not, but if this worked for someone, please let me know, because I want to know, so that way I can use this and tell other people also. Whenever if you have a pendulum or you have a dowsing rod and you ask yes or no questions, ask them to send audio to you in your head. Be like, hey guys, I want you to speak to me as you are answering the questions on this pendulum. And what this does is not only does it build trust, because not only are you seeing like the answer to your question, like let's say you ask, is Lisa going to be my next girlfriend? And you get the answer yes, and they say the word yes in your head, then not only are you seeing physical validation, so that's building trust with spirits and what you're saying in your head. But it can also be a form of meditation, because as you're watching, you're not really thinking of anything in your head. There's no thoughts, or at least for me, there's no thoughts. I'm too busy watching and getting an answer, and not really expecting an answer or wanting an answer. I just know that an answer is going to come through. So you have to trust the pendulum to be able to use this exercise also. But so whenever you're trusting that, and you know that, so whenever I'm watching it, I would get answers yes, and they would come through and say like, yes, Lisa is currently on the rocks with her boyfriend, is going to break up with him soon in a couple of months, and is going to be available for you to pursue as someone to date. And so you can use that. Another thing is you can ask them to come through as a different tone in your head. I had a guide that whenever he talked, I wasn't really trusting if it was him or if it was me, because he would use my voice. So I watched a video of a woman channeling him, and whenever he was coming through in this woman, like her voice would deepen a little bit, she would talk a little bit different, her voice would get a little bit louder, like it was just a completely different tone of voice, even though it's her voice. And so he started using that tone of voice in my head. So how she sounded channeling him is how he came across in my head for a super long time, until I was able to trust that it was him. And that's how we established connection, that it was him coming through, and I was able to trust whatever I was receiving, and I know that I was talking to him, and I wasn't just talking to some kind of random spirit walking by trying to pull pranks on me. The next tip I got is, whenever you ask questions and you receive something in your head, write it down. Like if you ask, is my next car going to be a Tesla? And let's say you get the word answer yes, and then you just let it be, and then you come back a week later, and or maybe a month later to it, and you notice that, like it doesn't, you're like, I don't know about this, it doesn't feel right, it doesn't, like you start thinking about it, like, there's really no physical validations with this, because when spirits come through, they're going to give physical validations of what they're saying also to you in your head. Well, I know for me, at least, that's what they do. Like, my whole world, my whole reality starts aligning to what they're saying. So, if you say, like, you came back and you're just like, nah, I really didn't see, any signs, or nothing was brought to my awareness that I was going to receive a Tesla. So, okay. So, let's say you ask the question, am I going to have a girlfriend in the next year? And you get the answer yes. And then all of a sudden, like, lesbian couples start walking by. Or if you're a guy, couples start walking by. Or women start talking to you more. Or, like, maybe a certain name starts popping up everywhere. Or, if you know your angel numbers, there's a certain angel number for the number of love that keeps popping up everywhere. So maybe Valentine's Day all of a sudden just comes out of nowhere, and it's like, in the middle of July, and you're like, Valentine's Day? Really? And then you can go back and be like, you know what? I did ask them if I was going to have a girlfriend the next year. And all of a sudden, all of this love stuff started popping up. And that could be physical validation, especially if those signs, those indirect messages, indirect physical validations align to trigger you to remember that, oh yeah, they did do that, because the validations are going to trigger you to remember that they did give this answer and they did tell you this was going to happen, and that helps a lot. Okay, another one I got, which is probably the most important one, is don't compare yourself to other mediums. Starting out, or even as a veteran who's been doing this for 25 years, don't compare yourself to other mediums, because first of all, it leads to stress, and I've already explained what stress does, but not one message is going to show up a certain way. For example, the way I hear the audio in my head is someone commented on my last video and they hear the audio completely different, in a different way. And I have a friend who's also a spirit medium, and how I get an answer is completely different how she gets an answer. Like, if I ask, am I going to have a girlfriend in next year? I will get the answer, yes. Whereas she'll come through and she'll be like, well, Jessica, it's time to start getting on dating websites. And essentially still a yes to her, because that's how she translates it as a yes. So we both come to the same answers and the same results, but they come through in completely different audio ways. So, like, if you're getting vague answers on, like, say, like, if you're talking to John Lennon and you're getting vague answers, but then another medium comes through and they're getting really direct and detailed answers, don't stress over it, because you may be talking to aliens and getting, or like even angels, you may be talking to angels and getting really detailed, direct answers, where this medium will only get vague answers. And they're all completely okay, because they all add to the knowledge and awareness that we have. So just like I said, if you're getting vague answers, that is amazing and it's awesome. I've been doing this for 1.5 years now, and I still get vague answers, and then some things I get detailed answers. And it's all great, because it all adds to our awareness and it all adds to the information that we get. And the next thing I want to talk about is, this is something that someone brought up, is that even with this, I know some people may fear about who is talking to them or who is not talking to them. And I just want to say that, if, first of all, let me start off like this. If you feel like you're talking to something that is not for your highest good, just tell them goodbye. Don't fear it. Don't stress over it. Just say, okay, well, I'm done talking to you. Bye. And then you can do whatever that makes you feel safe in your area, like cleanse your air, clean your aura, wait another week, and then try to talk to them. And whenever you go to start connecting in your head without, the pendulum or anything, and you just want to really connect to them in your head, set your intention. You can say a prayer before him. You can set this up just like you do with automatic writing. Automatic writing or talking through a pendulum. You can say a prayer beforehand. You can grab crystals. You can grab scents. Whatever makes you feel safe and comfortable. Don't be embarrassed about it, and don't stress that you have to have all that, because if you need that, you need that, and that's completely okay. Some people don't and some people do. I know whenever I first began, I needed all that, but no, I don't. And you may progress to that, and you may not. I mean, it's just who we are. We're all different. If we all connected the same, we would not have as much awareness information as we do now. So, and the last thing I just want to say is that, because I just like to put out this disclaimer, that there is a pretty good line between being psychic and mental illness, But if you are starting to talk to things in your head and they're talking back to you, and you're getting voices that are like telling you to commit suicide or to kill yourself or kill others or harm animals or harm yourself or you suck, and it's starting to make you feel really bad and depressed and aggravated and irritated, please, 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 please go get yourself mentally checked out. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with mental illness. But it's a good thing if you go get yourself medicated. I've been depressed before. I didn't hear voices in my head, but it was just a general feeling that I got. And I went and I got myself checked out to make sure that I'm stable and I'm okay. And come find out, it's just I had a lot of anxiety, and come find out it's just because I'm an empath. But yeah, anyways, but always rule it out, because spirits that come through are not going to tell you that. They're not going to tell you that you're going to give you everything you want. They're not a genie, and they're not going to pretend to be a genie. But they are going to tell you things for your highest good. Like, especially if you're hearing things like, it's time to leave your husband. Well, think about that for a second. If your husband is abusive or really just a narcissist or talks bad about you and stuff like that, then maybe it's time to start, taking up your solar plex and go for it. Where if you're hearing like, leave your husband, leave your kids, things as such, and you have a really good family life and your husband's so loving and kind, and yeah, he's got some faults, then, just really be that judgment right there for yourself, because some people can see the outside physical validations, but only you will know the difference, really. So yeah, but that's all I wanted to say. I hope y'all enjoyed these tips, and the next video I think is going to be on clairvoyance. We're going to be talking about seeing spirits. Bye.